on Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The Taipei District Court has ruled that Taiwan People's Party leader Wen-je be detained and held incommunicado. The 65-year-old is embroiled in the corruption scandal linked to his time as Taipei mayor. Tiffany Wu reports from the Taipei District Court.
The Taipei District Court has just ruled to detain Wen-je for a second time, this time holding him incommunicado with only access to his lawyers to prevent collusion. Now, came into court this morning for a hearing that was called by the High Court, which had overturned a lower court's decision to release him from custody without bail on Monday. But prosecutors had protested that decision and appealed to the High Court to vacate the ruling and detain for 2 months while they build their case. They said that he could collude with others involved in the case or try to destroy evidence, and it seems that here in this court today they have agreed. Now, maintained his innocence and said that it's a case that's already been discussed and closed before. The district court is also holding his former deputy mayor and 3 others involved in the case incommunicado. Now, with this second arrest, it seems that has a long legal battle ahead of him as he tries to clear his name. Joseph Wu, Justin Wu, and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan says it is monitoring military exercises being held across the Taiwan Strait by a neighboring China designed to simulate an amphibious landing. Jaime Okan has been following the story.
Taiwan is monitoring Chinese military aircraft, drones, and warships that are all taking part in drills just 350 kilometers west of Taiwan's main island here in Dacang Bay, which is near China's Fujian province. Now, these military exercises are part of a planned 2-day drill which simulate how China would move equipment and troops from warships that are stationed out here in the Taiwan Strait. They would practice how to move these troops inland and land on the beach. Now, this is concerning for Taiwan because Beijing has threatened to invade Taiwan, which it claims as part of its territory. Now, what's interesting about this drill is the use of these ships, which are known as roll-off, roll-on vessels. These are also known as ro-ros. These are civilian ferries which carry people, cars, equipment, and shipping containers filled with goods. Now, because they're so easy to roll on and roll off, there is a concern that China's military might use these ferries to maximize its ability to bring troops and equipment onto the beach. Now, earlier I spoke to Derek Grossman. He's a security analyst with the RAND Corporation based in Los Angeles, and he says that these ro-ros could play a big challenge for Taiwan's military.
China is constantly trying to improve its military capabilities to attack or invade Taiwan, and so the ro-ros are definitely a part of that. This is an amphibious landing capability that they are trying to perfect, and that is something that we're obviously keeping a close watch on.
Now, experts here in Taiwan recently said that China doesn't quite have the ability to invade and land troops on a beach just yet, but that these drills are part of Beijing's push to get to that point. And so what Taiwan's military is doing is just keeping on the lookout and monitoring those exercises so it can adapt its own defenses and manage those threats that it's seeing across the Taiwan Strait.
That was Jaime Okan reporting on China's recent landing drills. Taiwan's largest semiconductor trade show is taking place this week with a spotlight on AI. Discussions of AI hardware typically focus on processors, but this year's show also sheds light on another critical part of high-tech chips, memory. Chris Gorin reports.
Semicon is Taiwan's biggest trade show for its most important product, semiconductors. The massive expo takes up not just one, but 2 of the country's largest convention buildings. AI has been one of the biggest topics of 2024, and it's no different here. But if you listen to the executive speaking, there's a specific kind of hardware that may be key to winning the AI arms race: high bandwidth memory, or HBM.
HBM.
Is HBM.
High bandwidth memory.
But what exactly is HBM? Many advanced chip packages include both a processor and memory units. Older memory technologies place single memory units horizontally around the processor, connected by copper traces. But high bandwidth memory stacks the memory units vertically, shortening the signal path and improving speed and efficiency. The next generation of chips might have memory stacked directly on top of processors, improving speeds even further. And in AI, speed and efficiency are the name of the game.
AI uses an awful lot of data. That needs to be stored in the right way, in the right place. And processor technology is increasing faster than memories can keep up with.
While Taiwan can claim to be the king of chips, the king of memory is South Korea. Two South Korean companies, Samsung and SK Hynix, produce around 90% of the world's HBM. But in third place is US-based Migrant, which is hoping to take a bite out of South Korea's dominance, aiming to make up 25% of the HBM market by 2025. And Taiwan may be key to that push. Micron already assembles much of its HBM at its Taiwanese factories. Just last week, it bought up excess facilities from other manufacturers in the country's center and south, reportedly for further HBM production. This year's Semicon was also the first to feature keynotes from executives of both Samsung and SK Hynix, another sign of the focus on memory. And the memory giants see the value of Taiwan as well.
Almost 10 times have visited Taiwan this year, more frequently than any other countries. Because Taiwan is getting more and more important in AI industry.
Chips are at the heart of the tech economy, and competition for market share of each component is fierce. That's why the stronger focus on technologies like HBM and Taiwan's potential role in its production may make this year's Semicon one for the memories. Patrick Chun and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's government watchdog has come to a conclusion following the investigation into the abuse a group of migrant fishers faced at sea. Harrell Hughes tells us more.
A victory for Taiwan's migrant workers today after 10 Indonesian fishers say they worked for 15 months without pay. An investigation from Taiwan's government watchdog, the Control UN, has reached a verdict, throwing the spotlight on how this billion-dollar industry treats its workers.
我是非常同情他们，因为事实上中介就是因为劳动力啊，我用不到你，他就不是把他当人看呢，就是一个便宜的劳动力，我不要我就可以丢了，就是这样看。
The investigation found a range of faults, including a lack of access to food, water, and living areas, and highlighted the gaps in Taiwan's labor laws, something that has become a focus for Taiwan's government. The Control UN says the Ministry of Labor has to do more to protect workers by more actively investigating potential violations, pointing to signs of a changing tide in how Taiwan's migrant workers should expect to be treated. John Su, Cadence 40, and Harrell Hughes in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Environmental groups are calling for greater scrutiny of solar panel projects located near bird habitats. The Environment Ministry now requires an environmental impact assessment for projects on wildlife reserves, certain agricultural areas, and hillsides. But the activists say the regulations fall short. They say the rising number of solar panel farms are threatening the country's birds.
即使是现行的修正条文，依然是漏洞百出，应该是要改成说要2公顷以上就要环评。
Sustainability might not be the first word that comes to mind when you think about theater and performance. Given the often temporary nature of many productions, they can generate substantial amounts of waste and consume a lot of energy. Reese Ayers meets the people working towards a greener approach to performance art.
A post-apocalyptic future, piled with trash and polluted by plastic. It's a bleak image brought to life on stage by Performosa Theatre in their production Future World Hypothesis at the famous Cloudgate Theatre in New Taipei.
We will try to imagine after 300 years later what kind of landscape of we will live. So I think everyone can imagine that a lot of junk or a lot of something that couldn't digest by the sea.
More than an atmospheric story about humanity's fight for survival, the play reminds audiences of the impact people are having on the planet. The sustainability theme runs deep through the production, even to how it was put together.
Probably 95% of the materials that I use are sourced, collected plastic bottles, PET bottles, which have been transformed into these marine-looking creatures. We basically try to avoid buying new materials.
Some smaller grassroots efforts are also putting sustainability at the core of their practices. Theatre Naturally Connected, a production company based in Hsinchu in northern Taiwan, try to be waste-conscious in everything they do, sometimes by leaning into styles of theatre that were born from a lack of resources.
In Poland, we have a famous director, Grotowski, and he was a founder of the poor theater method, the actor that can create everything from his imagination and this inner landscape that it's created in his mind, and the rhythm of the body can make a music, and so it's really the less the better.
The move towards sustainable theatre practices has gained traction in recent years, becoming an international collaborative mission, with Taiwan playing a key role. A symposium on diversity and sustainability in the arts is being held here at the Kaohsiung National Center for the Arts, the biggest such venue in the world, and a building designed with sustainability in mind. It's a joint effort by Taiwan's Culture Ministry and the International Organization of Scenographers, Theatre Architects and Technicians, or OASTAT, an NGO building a global network for people in theatre production, as they agree to stay headquartered in Taiwan for another 5 years.
We are hoping to bring awareness from all the international community that this is the moment, this is the year we need to really look into the possibility of bringing sustainability thinking into theatre design.
At the event, conversations about how many small changes to industry practices come together to make a big difference in the environmental impact of a production.
You can't do everything all at once. Choose the easiest, most simple sort of action for you, whether that is changing out your electrical equipment for more sustainable electrical equipment, whether that is considering the paint that you use for your set design.
Every aspect of a piece of theatre or a concert can be examined and tweaked to reduce its energy costs, including using recycled materials to build sets, more energy-efficient stage lights, or finding new ways to repurpose existing props and costumes.
You could maybe take parts of a garment and modify and make a new costume. Or you could upcycle, which means taking, for example, 2 garments and changing them in such a way that you would make a third one, a new one.
Though they admit taking a more sustainable approach to performance design can introduce new challenges.
There is a worry that when you start adopting sustainable practices, that might reduce your creativity.
But as creatives, many in the industry are up for the challenge.
I think theatre companies and theatre makers are often thinking about sort of the cutting edge or what's coming next, whether that is within their community, whether that's in the arts or technology. So they tend to be kind of on the forefront of these sort of global issues, and sustainability is one of those as well.
Theatre has long been a medium that tackles the most pressing issues in society. Now, as the world grapples with an increasingly polluted planet, the theatre industry is reconsidering the role it could play in reducing its impact on the environment. Justin Wu, Alex Chen and Rhys Ayres for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has claimed its 3rd medal in table tennis at the Paralympics in Paris, bringing the total medal count to 4. Table tennis para-athlete Chen Mingzhi won silver after a close battle in the Class TT5 men's singles final, where he won 2 out of 5 matches but was ultimately defeated by Norway's Tommy Uhoke. This was the 45-year-old Chen's first medal at the event. He has been playing table tennis since childhood and became a para-athlete at age 32 after losing his left leg in a car accident. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we take you to Paris, where an exhibition is marking the 100 years of surrealism. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.